get started, I think it's appropriate to refer to a rather bizarre happening that happened day before yesterday when a member of the staff of the Foreign Relations Committee reported to us that they had received a call from a Mr. Tamraz alleging certain information against an ambassadorial appointment, which information also would have had implications for other people. Very serious accusations. We came yesterday into executive session, this committee, in order to decide how to deal with it, because it did have to do with the names of people, and we did not want to unfairly deal with them in public session until we'd had a chance to discuss it in private. We decided at that time to take Mr. Tamraz's deposition. We did. Mr. Tamraz denied that he knew anything about the phone call, that it was not him who called. We had a preliminary investigation, a very brief one, obviously, with regard to some of the other individuals involved, and decided that this was a matter that we would turn over to the Justice Department and leave to the Foreign Relations Committee as far as the appointment was concerned. Unfortunately, the White House apparently saw fit to release this information, apparently including the names of those involved, while we were in executive session. I would have thought that they would have learned by now that's not always the best course of action. So a lot of it apparently is on the public record. But as a committee, we have decided not to go into it and let others do it. But Mr. Tamraz, if I may start with you, a few questions concerning the testimony we've had and your statement. I think, first of all, it's appropriate to point out that we're not here to try you. You do not have to defend yourself from criminal accusations or charges that are pending against you in other countries. We cannot possibly resolve those issues here, just as administration officials cannot possibly resolve those issues when it comes to their attention. But the fact of the matter is that they did come to their attention. And when that happens, people have an obligation to treat individuals with those kinds of accusations very carefully. You understand that, I'm sure. Yesterday, an article in Newsweek that I suppose summarized the materials that you referred to as being on the LexisNexis appeared, was entered into the record. And the information was that in 1989, a Lebanese court charged you with embezzling $200 million from a bank. In 1992, a Jordanian court convicted you in absentia for the same fraud and sentenced you to 2 years in prison. A French court has ordered you to pay $56 million in connection with a financial dispute. And there's an outstanding Interpol warrant for your arrest. That was information that presumably they had access to. But it was not just that kind of hearsay information, which you've addressed here today and given your explanation, and you're free to go further into it if you want to. But not only did they have that information, but Ms. Heslin testified that you got your opportunity to present your case. You got your opportunity to present it to the Interagency Working Group. It's made up of the NSC, the DOE, OPIC, Exim Bank, CIA. You also got a chance to present your case for your pipeline idea to the NSA or the NSC. They considered it carefully, but they also checked you out. So it was not just a matter of the merits of the project. It was a matter of the person presenting the project. They checked with the Turkish embassy, and they got information to the effect that you were misrepresenting and mischaracterizing your relationship with the United States government. They checked with oil companies and found out that oil companies that you said you were doing business with or that were signing on with you in this project in some way, Pennzoil, Amoco, Chevron, Exxon, they checked with all of them, found that not to be true. In fact, Pennzoil went so far as to write you a letter saying that you should quit this kind of representation. The DOE checked you out and found out that not only were these people, these other companies, not aligned with you, they were against what you were trying to do, presumably because this would have given you control of the pipeline, and their experience has been that that would have been very costly to other American companies who would have to use the pipeline. So they had that information in addition from what they checked on. Later, we heard testimony from her that OPIC called up someone from Ms. Harkin's office over there saying that you were telling them that Ms. Heslin was strongly advising that Ms. Harkin see you. And we know from Ms. Heslin's testimony that would be the last thing that she would ever do. We have a memorandum from a person over at the DNC who trying to warn Mr. Fowler, saying we could sure use his $300,000, but it's not worth it, and please pay attention to these warning signals. We have a memorandum here, September 6, 1995, from the National Security Advisor to Vice President Gore, saying that you are shady and untrustworthy. So it's not just a matter of what's on Nexus Lexus, it's a matter of determinations made by officials, lower level officials in most cases, of the administration and the DNC. I think the question that we're interested in is not necessarily the truthfulness of all of this, but how someone with this kind of information against them and this kind of analysis having been made by so many people in and out of government could get the CIA, the DNC, the DOE, OPEC, the President of the United States all interested in what they were doing. Would you care to elaborate on that?
Yes, I must have been doing something well. I mean, I respect people's opinion. This is on the table, but there is also some other opinion, and that's why I wanted people to delve more, and when they call it shady, they must see why it's shady, and where is it coming from, and why this government. You should have also added that I've been condemned, and it's the only judgment against me, of 15 years of hard labor in Lebanon for having shaken hands with Israelis. So this is the atmosphere we're dealing with. Let's not avoid it. It's very easy to throw mud at people, but we must analyze, and that's what I've worked in the American system. People are innocent until proven guilty. Therefore, I respect everything Sheila Haslin had. All I'm saying, look at more information, look at other decisions. Nancy Soderberg says he's a prominent American. Other investment bankers have signed up with me. While she said I had no financing and she didn't care, she just gave me 20 minutes, even if I was her enemy, she should have given more time to find out who she's dealing with instead of just saying he's a second-class citizen or whatever it is.
You're aware of the fact, of course, there was an interagency working group working on this entire Caspian Sea issue, were you not?
I appreciate that, Mr. Chairman, but the beauty of our country is that people can have opinions. People can go out with a dream and work.
Well, let me